with Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Figure out what the coming days will mean for him, but I think he's doing all right. I think he feels under the weather. He feels sick, but nothing, above and beyond yet at this point. So I think just resting and hydrating is probably the most important thing for him. He was open to discussing, he's up to date with everything that he needs to do on the medical side as far as, vaccinations and everything. So there's hope that, he'll be able to take it on and deal with it and come back, fairly quickly.
You guys think Rocco has fun at his job?
I think
like on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
He does have fun at Fish concerts. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being just elated to go to work every day and deal with the roster crap that he deals with, and a 1 being just fire me now. Where do you think he's at right now?
I think right now he's probably at about a 4, 3 or 4. Because here's the thing. He is serving, in my opinion, so many people. Like, he's doing what a lot of people want, and he has to be the front-facing guy. Like, the one thing that, Terry did for Gardy at the end there, after the Mauer screw-up, was when he would talk to the media every day to answer questions, he
told Gardy to stop talking about injuries.
Right.
And then Gardy would get all defensive. Like, why don't you ask Terry what's wrong with, so and so.
But Rocco now he's the guy, and like he is trying his best to dodge questions and not answer questions, but yet not seem like a jerk about it. So I would say that his job to me doesn't seem like a ton of fun. I will say this, in retrospect, it's now abundantly clear why this front office and Paul were not going to work.
Because Paul was going to want to manage.
Yes, and Paul has his own ideas, and Paul's been around baseball, good or bad, forever, right? And so I think Paul probably had thoughts on how things should run. And I think Rocco has thoughts, but they are within the premise of what he's allowed to think, too. So I don't think that job to me does not seem right now, despite the success, like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so he's dealing with they just called up like 4 taxi squad players because they have a doubleheader today as we're recording this. And B, they got a bunch of dudes on the COVID list and the injured list, and then they're going to Toronto. So you have unvaxxed players that can't travel to Toronto.
Amen.
And it's just a huge mess of a road trip. But that leads me into here, Mackie and Judd, daily Minnesota sports, entertainment, speculation, therapy, whatever you need from us. We do statements every single Monday on this show. And boys, I don't know why this isn't working. My button bar.
Because it's Tuesday and the button bar is confused because we're doing a Monday segment on a Tuesday and the button bar is objecting.
Yep.
I'm going to give you statement number 1 after sitting through 30 minutes of Patrick Royce and Judd Zulgad just bashing a 29-20 Twins team. The senior section of Score North has been too critical of the Minnesota Twins. What if I had told you, all right, guys, so 2 months into the season, Royce Lewis is gonna come up and then immediately bang into a wall and be like maybe be injured for X amount of time. Byron Buxton's gonna have chronic knee issues. Carlos Correa is gonna get off to a slow start, and the bullpen has like basically no viable lefties. Caleb Thielbar has like a 6 ERA. What do you think is going to be the record after 2 months? And there's a bunch of other things, too, we could point to.
I'd say not very good because I would say that the teams that they were playing were going to be markedly better than those teams
Okay,
are.
propaganda from the senior section.
There we go.
I would say
there it
that
is.
they would not. Yes.
So the Twins are 9 games over 500. The senior section of Score North, Judd and Patrick, are being too critical of what's been a good baseball team so far.
Okay. Now let's see them play good teams. They haven't beaten a winning team since May 1st.
They haven't played many winning teams.
That's my point. Like that's why I'm.
Do we need to actively just like bury them every single day?
No, see, I'm not burying them. I am saying I'm going to wait and see until they actually go through at least a semi-gauntlet of good teams to judge them. I'm not being critical. I'm not being critical. I am being realistic. Critical would be this team sucks. They don't suck. They're 9 games over 500. You said it yourself. Nope.
This is me turning my head 90 degrees sideways at you right now.
Don't go upside down face.
Don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap of cynical being critical.
Okay. Well,
Evening,
those are two very close cousins.
Yes.
But here's what I'm saying, okay? I don't disagree with some of the things you're suggesting, which is maybe they're not for real, or maybe their pitching is maybe there's some guys in that staff that are gonna come crashing back to earth or whatever. I look at the lineup and say, okay, when that lineup is intact, which it very rarely has been, which is another probably credit to my point, that's a really good lineup, and they actually, I think they were like 5th in OPS at one point up until maybe a week and a half ago. And so all I'm saying is, they've grinded through a lot of crap to this point. I've been critical of some of the decisions that they've made. I don't love the way they handled the Royce Lewis situation. Did he really need to go to AAA? He's already played center field for 50 innings in the fall league. Does playing twice in AAA matter? Like, just keep him up. So listen, I am also questioning some of this stuff, but I feel like you need to say 3 nice things about the Minnesota Twins before I can move on to the. I cannot
did this 2
hit
weeks
the
ago,
sounder
too.
until you say 3 nice things about the
I
Twins.
did this 2 weeks ago.
I made Judd do
well.
this 2 Fridays ago.
And it was not hard. Okay, thing 1. Gio Urshela is a really nice player. And at third base,
he's a nice fella.
He is really and here's
He's
what's
a
weird.
happy fella.
I guess his John Sterling. I guess his UZR is not great, but
No.
like from watching him from the eye test, I think he's really damn good.
He's a
third.
good, not amazing analytically. He's a good, not amazing third baseman. But
I'm defending.
he's a good
I'm
player.
saying I've been impressed. Thing two. I think Gary Sanchez, by the way, he's not perfect, but I think getting out of the Bronx was huge there. Like, I think the pressure cooker and all the stories, and I think there were stories about his personal life, and he collapsed. And a lot of guys do. That's a tough place.
And then we can welcome him in with our open arms media and fans.
Exactly.
We're probably not going to criticize you.
Gary,
you can participate in
peanut butter or jelly.
Fun
that's what we say.
conversations and rankings. It'll be great.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's thing 2. So that trade right now, looks pretty good. Looks good. The third thing. What can be the third thing? I'm trying to think of the most positive thing that I can say.
Can't even think of it. He can't even think of a third thing.
Trying to
They're
think of the
29 and 20.
Oh,
he
here's
can't
the third thing.
think of a third thing.
Here's the third thing. Well, no, I was trying to think of the most positive possible third thing.
Oh, okay.
Luis Ariz is a damn good player. He is, and I don't care if it doesn't fit in with today's game consistently of what's the expectation.
Yeah.
Who cares about average? Well, I actually do if the guy's good.
He's like counterculture. Like he's like a counterculture
but he
hitter.
Puts the ball in play. Does a great job. He hits line drives. And guess what? Too, he has. I'm not saying he's perfect there, but we have seen bad play at first base, right? Ariz, who basically hadn't played there, has been, at worst, serviceable. And he's been fine. So that's 3 things right there. I'm more of a skeptic. I don't hate this team. I don't hate this team at all. I'm a skeptic until I see more.
All right. Is that good enough for you? Is it good enough for you to move on here, Declan?
Yeah, that's fine.
I just wanted to
It's a lot of
just
good
make
things.
sure that we're, listen, they're going through some stuff here, but
There it is.
okay.
There it is.
All right.
All right.
You're free to give a statement.
All right, my statement here. It's a math game for the Twins right now. So the Twins have a 29-20 record. They're 9 games above 500. They also have a plus 32 run differential. The White Sox, by the way, who are now finally 500 but are still a mess. They DFA'd Dallas Keuchel. They're slowly getting healthy. They are negative 45 in their run differential. The Twins already have an insane cushion here. Yes, they've played some bad teams. Yes, they got spanked by the Houston Astros, who have looked like the best team in the American League, not named the Yankees. But they don't deserve the fact to be just ripped because they're only playing these bad teams. In fact, we're going to see something here in the next 10 games after this Detroit fiasco where they're just, I guess, there for the eternity, it feels like, where they're going to get the Blue Jays, they're going to get the Yankees, they're going to get the Rays. The latter two of those series at home, we're going to be able to see something here out of this ball club. So it's a math game. The Twins have built up this cushion. This is a good thing. And they're still tracking to being a team that should be in the playoffs and not just be a cute wild card team with the added wild card bonus now in this year in Major League Baseball. They're in line to still win this division. It's a math game for the Twins over the next 4 months.
The playoff odds on Baseball Reference have the Twins. I think they had the Twins at 10 or 12% before the season. They're at 63.4% to make the postseason. That includes wild cards, by the way. Mm-hmm. And to your point, they don't have to give these wins back. That's the good news. Like they can go through a stretch where they play some below 500 baseball and still be above 500 in July, and then make a trade. Like they have to make a trade at some point to bolster pitching, bullpen.
A ballsy trade too. They cannot go out and get Sam Dyson again. Don't screw it up,
guy.
Hated cats.
Don't screw it up.
The run differential thing can be a little deceiving early on because, like, if the White Sox come out tomorrow and win a game 18-4, you know, but the White Sox just with all the injuries and Dallas Keuchel being DFA'd and Lance Lim injured for the first 2 months of the season.
I think he just went to their AAA team to start a rehab assignment too. Anyway. All right, I'm going to defend the Twins and say, don't misplace your anger. Royce Lewis playing center field on Sunday, and he unfortunately did get hurt in the third. It seemed like a Twins thing. It seemed like Royce had prepared to play there by going back and watching the greatest hits literally of Byron Buxton. But Royce Lewis playing the outfield was not a mistake. Look. I would have preferred he pulled up and watched that ball go off the wall and played it, but he didn't. But to be like, well, you see, and I got these tweets immediately. You see, Judd, this is what happens when a guy plays a position he's not used to. First of all, they were playing him at different positions in AAA, to which I said, so you're telling me in St. Paul, a level below this, that could not happen. Balls don't go off the wall there. Like, the game doesn't move fast at all. Second of all, this was... And this is where the Twins can perplex, confuse you at times, and frustrate you. But in this case, I'll defend them completely. The process of Lewis playing where he was on Sunday was absolutely correct. Carlos Correa is going to play shortstop. And he should. Like, there's no, debate, I wonder if Correa should be moved to third base. No. He is a platinum gold glove shortstop. You have 1 year probably of this gift, and Carlos Correa is a gift. Like, he was gifted to you by Boris. So that's a gift. So now the question is, how do we get the best lineup on the field possible? And the answer was, and it took 10 days, but okay. The answer was to get Royce Lewis into the lineup any way that you could. But this whole thing of, well, you see, Judd, this is what happens when you ask a guy to play a position that he doesn't play, is a bunch of garbage. The process there was absolutely right. It was a very unfortunate thing. That's all it was.
I'm actually going to piggyback off your statement and just go a step further and say people blaming the Twins for Royce Lewis's knee injury are idiots. It's now, could I pick nits in, did he have to go down? No, just hit him some fly balls. Have him take a day off or something if he needs to. Hit him some fly balls. Or he played about 50 innings in the Arizona Fall League in center field a couple years ago. He's a great athlete. It was just a fluke, weird play that, honestly, Byron Buxton could have gotten hurt on the same play and has.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it was, and it's funny because the people saying, oh, that play is an illustration of Royce Lewis not knowing what he's doing out there. No. It's the opposite. That play is an illustration of how great of an athlete he is and how few people can go back, track the wall, still make the play, absorb the contact, and he happened to tweak his knee when he did it. But I think a lot of guys, I don't think, make that play. They're either not fast enough or athletic enough, or they track the wall wrong, or they stop short and the ball bounces off the wall. It's an extra base hit. So unfortunate, fluke incident. Hopefully he's not seriously hurt and he's back in the lineup at some point. Maybe after this road trip is over. But yeah, we don't need to be. I don't think there's the pie chart of blame should be 100% on just fluke, whatever. And this is a guy who criticized the Twins for sending him down too.
Right.
So,
right.
All right, Dex.
All right. My next statement is, now that it's June 1st, we get into hot stove season. So the benefits of being a first base ball club, which the Twins are, entering June 1st here, is instead of looking at being sellers, which we were already doing that in early May last year, we now get to look at what players they could potentially buy on when the trade deadline happens. I know it's later, but we get into that official hot stove season, right? I feel like June 1st is like the first time you fire up the hot stove grill, right? Where you start to get a little bit of rumors out there. And actually, John Heyman at the New York Post over the weekend posted the 10 early candidates that could be on the move come the trade deadline. And Frankie Montas is still the number one option on there. I know Juan Soto is someone else who's probably going to get a lot of interest from the Nationals because they're just awful right now. But the best part about being a first place ball club is you now get to look at the hot stove season. What things could you add to this team instead of selling off pieces, right? Like, oh, you're so negative. You're going to personify a Jose Barrios trade into existence. Well, if this team stinks, then we're going to talk about that a year ago. Well, now the script is flipped, right? It's a first place team, and if they can find something else to add to it, that's great. These are great problems to have if you're a first place ball club like the Twins are. So hot stove season. I'm ready to cook something up. I want to see something.
What would you guys trade for Frankie Montas at this point? Because remember, the conversations we were having revolved around Royce Lewis 2 months ago.
You're not going to trade him now.
Twins prospects.
I mean, what would you have to trade? One top 10 prospect and one in your top 25?
So just for some context, he's having a very Frankie Montas-like season. He has a really good ERA, 3.28. He's made all 10 starts. He's averaging 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. So he would slot in as your best starting pitcher. And then you'd have, if healthy, you'd have a top 3 of playoff rotation if you get there of Montas, Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan. And then whoever else is still around at the...
Assuming Gray is fine. I'm a little bit concerned about that, but yes. So wait. How about a top 10 prospect and another one who's in my top 25? Is that fair?
I think you'd have to trade 2 top 10 prospects for sure to get Frankie Montas. It's a year and a half of Frankie Montas. Keep in mind the A's asking price. The A's asking price was like top guys from organizations. So you'd probably have to part ways with either Austin Martin or Jordan Balazovic, who's your top pitching prospect.
Okay.
I'd probably do that.
And
it's funny because you say this
shortstop?
now, it's like, yeah, Martin's it's outfield shortstop.
Okay.
But 2 months ago, I said on this show, hey, Royce Lewis hasn't played a baseball game in 2 or 3 years. I would trade the unknown for a known because this team just signed Carlos Correa. Let's go for it. Well, now that we've seen Royce Lewis, I think his value has changed because he has shown, for a 2-week stretch, he can rake and he can play some different positions. So Royce Lewis's value has gone up to me. I don't know that it's worth a year and a half of Montas. Austin Martin could also be an amazing major league player, but we haven't seen it yet. So,
what is your opinion if they made a trade like that for Montas? How far do you think that they can go? Like, if you take him and put him into a top 3 that does include Ryan and Gray, how far
that's a really good starting rotation. I think it would all depend on Byron Buxton. If Correa and Buxton stay healthy, and Buxton can play down the stretch, play in playoff games, that's a rotation that can win a playoff series. So I don't know that I'm putting him in. And then a lot of this depends, too, like what do the Yankees do? What do the Angels do at the trade deadline? The Astros. You're going to run into some really good teams, but it puts you on that level from a starting pitching standpoint. I still think you would need a really good left-handed reliever as well, minimum, to actually have a chance to go to the ALCS or something. Would you get smoked in a playoff series by the Dodgers if you made it to the World Series? Probably. I don't know that there's a move they can make that makes you a World Series team, but can you get to the second round? Yeah.
That's what my question is.
When you win a playoff game for the first time.
Win a GD playoff game.
Well, and are you going to allow, if you get Montas and you start him in game 1 of your first round playoff series, for instance, are you going to allow him actually to pitch deep enough in that game to impact it?
4 2/3. 82 pitches.
Third time to the order.
It's not a dumb question.
I know
man.
you have a perfect game going right now.
We've seen it. Yeah.
Need to preserve you,
Frankie. That's it. But Rocco, I'm pitching so well. No, dude, that's it. Great. Go shower up.
Speaking
Now
of
let's go lose this game.
Speaking of preserving, by the way, when it comes to your lake area, Declan, I feel like you have a product that people should be aware of.
You know, I took a stroll around Shell Lake in Wisconsin over the weekend. I was at the Gal's Cabin, beautiful lake, and I noticed something. I noticed that there was no weeds. There was no algae in that pond. And you know what? I bet it was an aquaside lake, an aquaside pond, which you can get right now in White Bear Lake. You can call them or go to aquaside.com. They've been killing lake weeds for over 60 years. They're a local company. They're registered with the EPA and DNR as a do-it-yourself product. They give you these aquaside pellets. You put them in the water. They give you the turn-by-turn instructions, and it removes that algae and that nasty lake weeds from your pond and lake home. Give them a call. It's Aquaside and aquaside.com.
Also, a shout-out to our friends at Dennis Kirk. This Twins discussion presented in part by Dennis Kirk, which is great if you are into riding Harleys, Indians, Metro Cruisers, sport bikes, whatever you ride. They have 160,000 plus parts in stock, free shipping on orders over $89, and also 0% financing for 12 months on various vehicles. So check them out. Ride more, wait less at DennisKirk.com. My next statement here, boys. The best player this season for the Twins has been Trevor Larnick, and I can prove it.
Yeah, he's been very good.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Larnick leads the Twins in wins above replacement. He leads the Twins in OPS, and he leads the Twins in hard hit percentage. If you're wondering whether it's fluky that he has, 300 batting average and power and stuff, it is not. He basically barrels a ball up 40% of the times he puts a ball in play, which is pretty crazy. So, you're seeing a guy that probably wasn't, think about the way Miguel Sano was touted and Byron Buxton and even Alex Kirilloff. Trevor Larnick was also a first-round pick and a really, really good college bat. But he just kind of flew under the radar when it came to Twins prospects because he didn't really play a sexy position. He's a corner outfield guy. But he might wind up being the best pure hitter of that group of prospects. Byron Buxton, power hitter, is one of the best in baseball. In terms of just pure all over the field hitting and power, Trevor Larnick is leading the Twins in OPS.
He's been fantastic, yeah. He's been really,
I think there was
really
a stat yesterday that since 2021, he averages the fifth most distance on his home runs. So when he hits bombs, he hits bombs.
Damn.
Only 4 other players average more distance per home run than Trevor Larnick. Yeah, he's been phenomenal. He's been awesome.
All right, here's mine. Stop saying first base is easy. I know that this goes back to the A's and the concept of,
it should be easy.
First base is easy, but it's a nuanced position at which you have to know what you are doing. And exhibit A of a man who has no idea, and this is why the consistency of the decisions by this team perplex me. Jose Miranda has no idea how to play first base. And he was put there, I believe they started to transition him to a little bit of first base with the Saints. And then they're like, okay, go for it, dude. He doesn't know where to be fundamentally. Case in point, the obstruction a couple of weeks ago, where I believe it was against, what was it, Cleveland or Detroit, where he obstructed with the guy who was coming around first base, and of course that guy was then, because of the obstruction, awarded second base and scored with what I believe proved to be the winning run, is a byproduct of the fact that Miranda doesn't know even where he's supposed to go. So he was just sort of like, oh boy, what's going on? Oh, sorry about that, dude. The plays yesterday were in their own way both awful. First of all, the throw to poor Joe Smith, who's like my age. So he's like, Joe Smith's like, yeah, PFP, man, I'll get over there. And Miranda decides to make an Ozzie Smith type throw on the run, sort of like jumping. He never sets himself. And of course, throws it into the dugout. The second one, equally as egregious, Urshela makes this great play and from his ass throws the ball. And Miranda's like, I'm going to stretch for this puppy. I've dropped it. And now the runner's scoring. These are the nuanced things that are why you have to have some sort of semblance. And I think Arise does. He's probably just a flat out smarter player. But you have to have a semblance of an idea of what you're doing at that position, because you get the ball enough where if you don't, it's going to be exploited badly. So this whole thing of, well, you could just put some guy from the stands at first base is one of the most ridiculous sports things.
But that's okay. but let's quantify hard versus easy. Okay. Yes. Could we put Judd or me out there in a Major League Baseball game at first base and have it be easy? No, it would be impossible. Like these towering pop-ups and these laser ground balls and having to figure out, okay, how do I scoop this, this fastball coming from shortstop? Like, yes, like, is it a hard thing to do athletically for the common person? Yes. But if you're a professional baseball player and you've played harder positions, because first base is among the easiest positions on the diamond to play, not just being thrown into the fire. I'm saying, like, given a chance to train a little bit and get used to it. If you played third base before, which Miranda is a natural third baseman, transitioning to first base should not be all that much different or difficult. You're making harder throws from third base than you are trying to toss a ball to a pitcher from the first base side.
Absolutely, but the nuance of the position and actual footwork becomes a problem. Like, you've got to know what you're doing there.
It's not hard to learn. Like, how many guys how many hacks have learned how to play? Adam Dunn played first base.
But did he play it well? And Miranda's an absolute disaster there. My point is this whole thing of, well, we'll just put him there and it's going to be fine. But then to say in the same breath, but Royce Lewis needs to go to St. Paul to work on other positions is one of the most ridiculous. That's where the process doesn't make sense. Like, we always talk about the process. It's not the result, it's the process, okay? What doesn't make sense is you've got a guy at first base who cannot play it. Like, he's awful there. But you're like, we'll put him there. But with Royce, it's like, but he has to go back to St. Paul. That's why I don't understand it.
I literally think that some of these decisions that the Twins are making, I think they're just kind of going day by day, flying by the seat of their pants. Because you're right. Like, okay, we could throw Jose Miranda in the fire or keep him up when he can't, make contact.
Right.
Or last year, we can put Nick Gordon in center field against the New York Yankees, hitting towering fly balls, Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge. For the first time since he was 12 years old. Somebody asked him before that game, and it was, kind of a similar situation where the roster was thin or whatever, and, hey, we need a new outfielder. And they said, okay, Nick Gordon's a former first-round pick. Wasn't he the 5th overall pick? And he was still very much prospect status at the time and a guy that you had high hopes for. And without sending him back to AAA to work on outfield, they put him in the outfield against the New York Yankees. And someone said, when's the last time you played outfield? Because I think when I was 12 years old, I shagged some balls or something, But then when it comes to Royce Lewis, we need to, you're red hot at the plate. We need to send you back down for a week so you can work on playing outfield, even though you did play 50 innings of outfield in the Arizona Fall League a year and a half ago. So I'm with you on some of these weird, just even like the Buxton pinch hitting thing. You can't question that. You don't understand just how much time it takes him to get ready. When he's not playing, it means he's not playing. 2 weeks later, we needed a pinch hit in the 8th inning. It's like, well, that's what we were asking about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So I am with you in lockstep on some of the inconsistencies in decision making. So
Jose Miranda is literally taking grounders at first base right now as we record this, as we speak. So he's
should
getting
be
his reps
making
in.
throws as well.
He is. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're literally having him play it on the second base side and do a little PFP with them. So kind of hilarious. Twin statement from me, actually just a self-reporting statement. Because I went to Target Field on Friday night to kick off Memorial Day weekend. And I remember I went back and looked through my text messages because the Surleys were flowing to you two. Yeah, that's my statement. My Surleys were flowing because my text messages to you two were not making a lick of any sense. And I was having a great night at Target Field, enjoying a beautiful Friday night baseball game as a proud season ticket holder of the Minnesota Twins that believes in this ball club. My statement was the Surleys were flowing on Friday night, and a little bit of a buffoon of the week in my part, but not too crazy.
Wait, what's your statement? That you got drunk at a baseball game?
And then I was sending you two nonsense. I was texting you two nonsense.
Is this like an
Friday.
apology or I don't understand your statement? Are you like
yeah, just like I was just saying the
Surleys
were flowing, and I was not making any sense in our text message. So yes, I was just apologizing to you two. I was enjoying myself at a baseball game on Friday.
I was on my couch drunk. I didn't really care.
So you two were probably then drunk too.
The Surleys were also flowing.
I'm just going back in the text thread here. So
I'm sure they made perfect sense in my inebriated state, Declan.
What were you? There's a couple things in here that we probably shouldn't bring to the forefront.
Yeah, probably shouldn't bring to the forefront because we are a private show.
Oh, well, here's I have some inside information about the Vikings that I'm going to hopefully reveal at some point on Purple Daily this week.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Friday night here. Let's see here. Oh, it was. This is hilarious. I don't know if any of this is interesting for the show, but we had a long thread going on Friday night.
See,
We did.
I don't remember it at all.
Oh yeah, this is a very long thread. Actually, here's one. Declan said, "I have AJ handling social media because I'm going to be drinking beer at the game."
There you go.
So very
There you go.
responsible.
Thank you, AJ.
Yep.
Thank you, AJ.
But that makes sense.
Appreciate
That's
you.
good. Good job,
Yeah.
Dex.
Want to make sure everyone knew that.
Amazing. Speaking of buffoon of the